I'm Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy Mysonne, the General.
We are your host of TMI.
Tamika and Mysonne's information, truth, motivation, and inspiration.
New name, new energy, but
same old us.
What's going on, my son Lennon?
I am happy to be back, Tamika D. Mallory.
We're back.
We back in this.
Why are you screaming, though?
Because, I'm low energy. Got to come with a little energy. We back. Okay. Janice always be like, yo, come with you guys have to have energy. So I came with the energy today. You know, right, Janice? I'm with the energy
on
today.
The table with your energy, okay? Just no banging. But it's very nice to see you, sir.
Likewise. You got your hair done.
It's the same
got your little
hair
leopard
from days ago. Okay.
But it looks like it's working.
Throw it to the side over the pillow and just get up and keep it moving. That's
got a
all
little
I can
curl
do.
in it.
Mm-hmm. The curls was real good. They was real good curls. I had a black Jamaican woman who curled my hair for Sherri Shepherd show 2 days ago. She curled different.
It's a different type of curl?
She put the perfection curls to this hair.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Shout out to
Brenda.
Shout out to Brenda from Sherri Shepherd show.
No, she is not from the Sherri Shepherd show.
Oh, she not from the show?
Oh, my God. Why are you acting like... You know what? I realized that you did not know who Brenda was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brenda is directly across from Alicia in the salon.
Oh, okay.
She's been to all of our stuff. Yes, she's supporting.
Brenda. So she's the one. Oh, so she came.
Alicia went to Mexico.
Oh, so
and
Brenda
then I said,
came.
I tried to tell her, by the way, Alicia is my hairstylist, y'all, for everybody who's listening. I was like, Alicia, not this week. Like, you cannot have a trip to go on this week because I'm going to be on Sherri Shepherd show. What am I going to do? And she was like, damn, you could see that she really considered, like, damn, I got to do your hair. Your hair got to be right. When I saw her the next few days, whatever, later, I was like, yeah, now you remember, I said, what you going to do? Because it's on Monday. She said, I'm going to Mexico. And you got to call Brenda. We called Brenda, set up the appointment. She was like, yeah, baby, I love you. But there's always going to be something because my hairstylist, everybody who she handles, has something going on. It's whatever it is. Teaching, being on TV, being in the mix.
So she got to find a little minute for herself.
And I listen.
If not, she going to be putting out fires and running like a person with her head cut off.
I am very, very happy for her that she got her a little bit of vacation.
And Brenda came to the rescue.
Brenda came to the rescue and came to my house at 6 o'clock in the morning and started with them curls, them good curls.
Okay, they still working.
That's right. And shout out to Tatiana, who also was on the beat.
Tati on the beats.
Yes. So anyway, speaking of Sherri Shepherd, the Sherri Shepherd show. First of all, let me just say that Sherri Shepherd in general is just an incredibly authentic woman. So speaking of Sherri Shepherd and the Sherri Shepherd show, which I was very, very, very proud and honored to be on, Sherri is a super authentic woman. Mm-hmm. First of all, we met because people continuously tagged us together on social media saying, y'all look so much alike. It used to be Keisha Knight Pulliam that I always was mistaken for, and people would tag me with Keisha all the time. But as of late, it's really been Sherri Shepherd. And so we met because people were saying it, and then eventually, no matter how busy you are, no matter how many people are following you or speaking to you, if something is consistently being stated in your comment section, you're gonna see it, and you being tagged to, people saying, look at them, look-alike photos. So we both saw it, and somehow online we just were like, oh, hey sis, I guess we twin, and and that was that. But then Bevy Smith had a dinner. And we were both there, and that's where we had our first opportunity to actually sit and talk about this look-alike piece. And then, of course, we took a video, we put it out, and it was super cute. And I do see the resemblance between us. I don't think we look as much as, folk be going hard like, oh my God, I thought it was Sherri talking to Sherri. Okay, I don't know about that. y'all.
But there's a resemblance.
You see something there, especially it depends on the angle, depends on the hair, depends on a bunch of things. So we just became, cool off of something where other people kind of brought us together around this idea. But once we met at the dinner, it was just like a star in your eye. Like, sis, I see you, you see me, we cool. So then we just seen, you know how it is. It's like a car. Once you get one or once your friend has one,
yes,
everywhere you go, you see this particular brand, this make and model. That's how it is. So then all of a sudden we just see each other here, there, and the third. And she always is just so cool and so real. She's not the type of person, it's some of these folks that and I want to say entertainment because she is in entertainment. She's movies and all of that, so she's in entertainment. So I'm going to say these entertainers that you can meet and you're like, hey, and they like, hi, how you doing? I have to say I'm very, 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 very privileged in that it doesn't happen to me often. Even whether people know me or not, generally, and I think I kind of like do the same thing on the street, right? A lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't get out your car in this place or that place because look at those guys or look at those people. But when I approach people, just because we work in communities, I know how to have a voice and a tone that just makes people feel like, okay, she cool, she gets me. So I jump out the car and I'm in the hood and I want to go to the store and get me some Skittles or something, water, whatever it is. And I see a bunch of guys in front of the store. I don't act afraid, first of all. And second of all, I just honor them. Like, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's good to see you. And, usually the response is like, what's up, sis? How you doing? Cool. So the same thing with how I try to operate in any space is that when I see people, I try to give them reverence, respect. It ain't about me. I don't need you to be like, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm willing to speak first. So every time I see her, it's mad love, mad love, mad love. And she said to me one day, you got a book coming out, you doing different things. Let me know how I can be supportive. And sure enough, I was able to get on her show. Now, and she doesn't have anything. I think she just told her producers, who happened to be amazing. Black woman on the set, amazing. All kinds of people, all different types of people. They were amazing. On the set, Patrick, just a bunch of people, just amazing. So I'm not putting this on them. But you know how hard it is for me, especially me, to be able to get in some of those mainstream spaces because you have some of the people on the teams like, oh, she's this or she's that, too controversial, too this, too that, and the third. And so I just expected and understood that when I was telling her like, hey, I would love to come on the show, if she would have said, I can't get it done, which I have been told that by other Black people on other shows, by the way. I'm sorry. I really would love to have you on. I was on Tamron Hall too with my first book, but I've had a lot of people say, I want to do it, but you know the story. You know what I've heard. I wish I tried, but in the meeting, it turned into this, that, and the third. So I don't know if she had to deal with anything. I don't know if she had to speak up for me. I have no idea. She never made it a thing, any of that. She just was like, I want to have you on. And the next thing you know, I was on. And I was expecting Mysonne to get the call from between when she told me that I was going to be on, which was weeks before. I was expecting that she would text me and say, sis, can we talk? Because I get that all the time. And I already know what it is. Whenever I'm supposed to work on a project with a celebrity or, in some type of space like that, and they text me, can we talk? I know that they're either trying to get their talking points to go back and fight, or they're getting ready to tell me that, unfortunately, these folks are saying whatever, and let me support you in a different way. So that didn't happen. It was a great conversation. She's a beautiful person. The energy in the space was amazing. The Black women that's showing up for Sherri Shepherd is also extremely powerful. Just beautiful to see all those Black folks, men and women. Yeah. So it was just a really, really good vibe.
Dope, man. It looked very amazing. Like you said, everybody there was dope. I was happy to be there to support you, and she was
not to support me. You are on the payroll for the tour. So let's get that clear here.
Anyway,
it's your job. What I told you about the job.
Ain't nobody gonna do it.
Everybody gonna do your job, because we
got to do your job. You got to get paid, so you got to do your job. But no, it was just an amazing energy, and like you said, it's a lot of people that don't. It's a lot of people that say, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and you can come on the show, and then it's and I respect the people that say I can't, because that's just the reality.
I'm not mad at them.
Look, I'm not the boss here. You know, I work for some people, and they said this, but the people that piss me off is the ones that say they're gonna do it, and then they don't respond to your call. Oh, yo, sis and bro, we got you. Like I'm not even asking you to go fight. Energy. No, it's not even a fight. It's just, for me, it's like, what? Why should I have to fight? Because you volunteered something, and we still in this. In this industry.
See, you don't went. You off of my issue. You on
my
to
own
your
issue
own.
because it's just people. It's so much fake shit in this industry, and I've grown past the calling out and feeling away, because I know these be the same people that you'll hug tomorrow, that see you and be like, oh, yo, yeah, you call me tomorrow. It's the same shit. You see them, and it's the industry hug, the industry pound. Yeah, just hit me up. We're going to do this. And then you call them, they never answer, or they respond once. And then you see them again, and they act like they never told you what they told you last time, and you just keep playing this game. And before, it would piss me off.
No, before, I remember, because you used to pull people to the side like I need to talk to you about it.
But now I realize that you know that I know that you bullshit, and I know you know, so I don't have to do it, because you got to deal with that. I don't take it on myself no more, because that's the world we live in this industry. But it's good to see that there are still people who are genuine and authentic, and it was a dope interview. The energy was dope. It was fun. It wasn't, it dived into the book, but it had some fun things. She showed you social media. It just was a dope interview.
They did. And you know what? I think that my appearance on Sherri Shepherd's show showed, it gave people the ability to see the other sides of me, because I have been boxed into what I have presented. I'm not trying to say that people should just out of their head imagine something other than what they continuously see that you promote about yourself. Yeah. And what I have been very comfortable as, and what I am until the death of me, is an activist, an organizer, a strategist in the movement. I am absolutely that. I am a protester. That's what I am. But I just want folks to be able to see that there is a human side to people that is not just in front of a bullhorn, microphone, camera, just being the angry black woman all the time, although I'm angry as shit, and I don't let nobody take that from me. However, or try to weaponize that, because we should be angry about everything that is happening in our society. But I will say that I also have other things about me, and I am evolving as a person. My 44-year-old self is very much different than what people met in 2019, 2020, 2021. I have a whole new thing going on that I can feel rising up in me. And so I think the interview gave an opportunity for people to see those things. And it made people mad, because I already received a few DMs from people I know and don't know, like those bikini pictures, like you're letting people diminish your brand. I love when they get mad about the bikini pictures.
Why would it diminish your brand? People are weird, because you know what it is? People have in their mind what your brand is to them. So that means it's to you what you think it is.
Exactly.
No, my brand is not, like, when I say I'm gangsters, woke as fuck, people be like, oh, you can't. No, I can be. You can't be. You don't get to tell me, look, if I'm outside and you approach me in a way, I'm going to handle it that way. When it comes to being woke, I'm going to speak on behalf of my people. I'm going to merge both parts of me to create who I am.
Right.
And I don't have to make you feel comfortable. Yeah. I don't have to make you feel comfortable about who I am.
That's right.
And that's okay. And you don't have to like that part of me. You can be like, you know what? They can be like, yo, you know what, Tamika, I don't really want to see you in baby. Don't look. Right? Go to, like you said, go to Until Freedom page. You're going to see all of the business and all. But on this page, I might have on a bathing suit. I might do this. I might do whatever I want on my personal page, because this is my personal life. And people got to understand that. The internet makes people, and we love you as fans. We want you to love us for what you love us for, right? If you just like my raps, my YouTube page is full of raps. Go on there and watch my raps. If you don't like my political stance, don't come to my Instagram, right? It's not going to work for you, because I'm going to speak on what I think. So Take the part of me that you like and enjoy it. Take it with you. Right. But don't put the rest of the shit on me, because the other part you don't like, that's me, it's still me. And I'm not going to change it to make you happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So it is what it is.
Yes.
But I am very grateful for that opportunity. And moreover, and this is my thought of the day, I am grateful for the way that people are showing up on this tour. Now, I know in season 4, we talked about this as well, because the tour just began and there was so many incredible people coming out. And I said that I was just, very, very grateful. But I really want to kind of come at it from a different perspective today, because yes, people are showing up. And when I say showing up, it is amazing to me. It's beyond what I could have imagined. I knew that I wanted, which is why I have funded my entire tour myself. And I knew that I wanted and by the way, funding my tour doesn't mean people haven't had to purchase tickets depending on the venues or whatever. But in terms of how I got there, the travel, for the most part, 90% of the time, I've covered it myself. I've covered the team, different individuals who've either had to travel with me or handling different aspects of it. I've purchased books myself to give away here, to, gift to different people. I have done as much as I can, because I understand that the investment from you for you is going to be more significant. You're going to get more of a return from the investment that you put into yourself. My publishing team, amazing, amazing, amazing. They have gone above and beyond to support me, but there are still limitations with a company that's working with 1 million authors. So if you really, really want to see a product that is like a product that represents you and exactly what you want and your capabilities and your brand, you have to invest in it, right? And I know that's hard for people to hear, because it's like, damn, I already struggled to do the book.
It's hard for you to hear.
What you mean?
Because I had to damn near, I'm not about this book, but just in general. I tell you, believe in certain things. You're like, well, I don't know if people are going to come, and I don't know. No, you have it. You have everything that's necessary.
Well, that particular part is different. What I'm saying is, I always believe in investing in myself, because no matter what we've done, from this podcast to my other businesses to Until Freedom to the Justice League and anything that we've been involved in, I have always put my credit card up with everybody else's
that's
to
not
say,
what I'm saying.
let me.
I guess what I'm saying
invest. But I think you're speaking to the first part of what I was saying,
yes,
which is the way that people are showing up is beyond my imagination.
And I told you that it shouldn't be.
Yeah, but well, it's that people are. If some of the events that I have been a part of, the group of people who are having it, right, the host, let's just say they're charging $110 for a ticket, because they're feeding people, giving you a drink ticket, giving you a book that is signed by me, and of course they got to pay for a venue. So they have all that going on. Sure, I get there on my own in most situations. Few times other people have paid for me to come, but for the most part, I don't even ask. I let them offer, or if not, if it's something I want to do, I'm on my way. Because I understand that having events for somebody, and this is my book, this ain't their book. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Venues are not cheap. Dinner, drinks, whatever you have, it's not cheap. So for somebody to go in their pocket in this day and age with all the expenses, the eggs too high, the bread too high, the gas too high, the daycare, the stress of what's going on the TV, the world is a mess. For them to go in their pocket and say, I'm going to spend $110 on this event so I could go and be a part of something for Tamika Mallory. And it's not just one, but in most places, 100, 150, 200, 300 people just this past weekend. And there have been some situations where it's even more folks than that showing up to celebrate and or just to be in community with me and other people. That it's amazing. It's amazing to me. Amazing. To get back to my thought of the day, the thing that has been eye-opening to me is the creativity and the genius and the entrepreneurial spirit of folks all over this country. Everywhere that I've been, you think I have a book. People have 6 books that they have written on education, on healthcare, on serious issues, or novels, or, the Coldest Winter Ever sequel, right? People in there, they are in their literary bag. They're in their author bag. People with all these books. I have so many books that come back with me in my suitcase. Sometimes I have to have them shipped because 20 people in a room have a book that they're giving me. Also, products, right? Makeup, lipstick, anything, hair care products, stuff they're making at home, wanting you to test. Now, y'all can stop giving me stuff that you making at home that you want me to test that doesn't have a seal and a label and all that, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to test it, and I'm not going to eat the cookie or the whatever you bringing me that you made in your house. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just being honest, so you don't even bother. And by the way, I really don't even want anything when I'm, most of the time I'm like, let me just maybe have a glass of wine, maybe a plate. I don't want anything that has to do with that, because unfortunately, I've never met you before. You don't really know me. I don't know where the stuff is coming from. I don't know what it's going to do to my skin. And I wouldn't bring it to you and expect you to use something that you whipped up in the kitchen. And people be in my ear like, I did this in the kitchen, this and that. I get it. I really, really understand. But I'm personally not going to put it on my body. That's just my truth, okay?
This is true.
Nonetheless, the jackets, the duffel bags. One lady in Buffalo gave me a jean duffel bag with my name on it. Black folks are making everything that we need. Everything. So even the stuff that's being whipped up in the kitchen, it's going somewhere. It's going from test to tube. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make it there because the products, this stuff is like really good. And I feel like, and I love what they're doing on Easter. Pastor Bryant, Jamal Bryant, and other pastors around the country are opening up their churches as vendor spaces so that people who are either in Target, maybe not in Target, black vendors in general, will have the opportunity to be showcased. And I just feel like a lot more of our attention has to be spent in that particular way, in that area of uplifting these people who don't have platforms, but they are out here with the thing that you want. I have stuff where I don't need the jacket from such and such downtown in whoever makes the jackets. Like, I don't need that jacket because the black people making biker jackets.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I think. I think a lot more of our attention has to be on uplifting these folks who are geniuses in their own way and making sure that the rest of the world gets to see it. And the thing about social media is that the algorithm is only going to allow us to promote so much of a thing. So only 10%, I think, what's our brothers Isaac Hayes would say is even less than 10% of your following is seeing
your content,
the products and stuff like that. So
I think we have to be a lot more intentional, right? I think we have to create an algorithm because the algorithm is there, right? And I think consistency, that's what I realized about algorithm, right? We say that the algorithm grabs this. The algorithm grabs this because it sees that there's a need for it. And especially on your page, like certain things on your page, they figure out that certain people come to your page for certain things. So when you know what your algorithm is, because when you put out these certain things, you get a bunch of comments, you get a bunch of likes, because that is the bucket they've put you in, right? In order for you to break out that bucket, you got to start giving them something consistent outside of that, and so it can break into a different algorithm.
Right.
So it's a process to do it, but you have to be intentional. And since I think that's a great idea, because I know during the pandemic and during when we did a lot of just promoting all black people stuff, after I boycotted Nike and I started promoting black, brands, the algorithm picked up. They really was picking up on it because it became something that I was, focused on, and then people come to tune in for it. So I think we have an algorithm for it. I think we should really start being.
We have an algorithm.
Yeah, I think you have it too, because
the interest is there.
Yeah, I think. Well, I know I have an algorithm for it. I know every time that
I don't know if you can have an algorithm.
You have the algorithm picks up on my page for certain things.
I think you have an audience for it.
The audience picks up the algorithm. But I don't know about the
algorithm for it.
Yes, it is. It's all inside the audience. Your audience is part of your algorithm. That's what it is. When your audience picks up. I thought
the algorithm is like, it's kind of like the popularity of your content. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to figure it out.
It is pretty much your fan base, right? What your fan base reacts to. That's your algorithm, right? So when you put certain things on your page, when you talk about social justice things, when you talk about certain things, you get immediately people grab on it.
Yeah,
you get people promote it. You get websites. Because that's what they want to see. Because they immediately see a lot of the other stuff that you put on there. They don't even see it, because you can tell by the amount of views that you have. It's like, why is it? I know this is good content, but it hasn't fit into your algorithm because it doesn't fit into what your audience normally sets. So the computer doesn't send it out with the same vigor that it does. So that's what the algorithm does. The computer identifies the content you have and realize, oh, this is the content that people know her for. So they make sure that all of your followers see it.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that and you start putting new stuff up, the views get very low. So we got to just build up our algorithm.
That's interesting information, because, I don't really pay attention that much, and I don't really know how it operates. I just post stuff and keep it moving, but there is obviously a science to it. Yeah. So let's get into our TMI, the too much. You're doing too much.
There's too much getting done. Too much.
You're doing too much. So everybody's up in arms. Not everybody. Let me stop saying everybody, because there's a lot of people who are not up in arms about it at all. But there is a conversation about Marvin Sapp that is a resurfaced video. So it's not something that happened recently, that someone put out, where he is at a conference and he tells people, it's a church conference, which is mostly where he is all the time. Mm-hmm. And he tells the trustees and security, lock the doors, don't let anybody out. I'm raising money. I need to raise $40,000 in here. And he starts to tell people how he wants it raised. He wants it $25, $20, I think was the baseline. I think that was the baseline. I could be wrong. So Janice says $20, right? It was the baseline. And so again, he's at a conference, right? And so he starts asking for this. And I guess they've calculated it's X seats. If it's packed, then you could get to your amount by this. And so people are like, oh, he's locking people in, which is kind of like holding people hostage. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of like quasi kidnapping, and that's from the comments what I see. And one of the questions that was asked is like, where's the line between stewardship and showmanship? I think for a lot of people, when they say showmanship, I'm just getting in other people's heads and honoring their thoughts, that when you say showmanship, what you're really kind of saying is that it's so much pomp and circumstance, and then you got to raise all this money, and you want to, to be on the stage, lock the doors and talking, whatever, and people see it as performative, even though, and they say our work is performative too. This is a normal, this is a word.
Okay, finish.
No, so folks feel like, he's wrong because he is locking people in and essentially forcing them to come up with X amount of dollars at this faith-based conference. Yeah. So the question then becomes, I have an opinion. I don't always have an opinion, and for TMI, we might not always have our own opinions, but I do have an opinion. But I would put it out there to the world. Never mind. We're not up to the question yet. Right now, I just want to hear what you think about it. We actually never really talked about this.
No, we haven't. And I think for me, it's like anything. What did the church say? The people in the church, did somebody come forward that was at the conference, that was in the church, that felt offended? Have we heard that?
Well, the video came from somebody in the church.
I mean, just showing the
or
video.
at the event. I don't know if it was in the church.
Yeah, I mean, just showing the video doesn't mean that you're offended. You might just...
There's been no outcry from the attendees to say, oh my God, we feel so, harmed by this action.
And I think that's telling, right? I think in any situation, like when you talk about people, like there's always been this conversation about the pastors, and the collection plate, and why do you need a collection plate, and who did... And I say to myself, if you don't go to that church, then you wouldn't understand. If you're not donating, if you're not putting your money in that collection plate, then you shouldn't have an issue with what goes in that collection plate. It's always outside people that have an issue about people giving their money, grown adult people who said, you know what, I would like to put my money in this collection plate because I believe in this church. I believe in that pastor. I believe they're going to do something good with my money, and I'm okay with that. These are grown people making decisions. So for me, I think that every time it's always the backlash coming from people that have nothing to do with the situation, right? So if the people who were in the church, right, who were in this conference came forward and felt like what he was doing was wrong, if his congregation was saying that he was going about something wrong, then I would understand that. Then there would be a conversation. But the fact that you just somebody looking on, and you first of all, you're not even familiar with the culture of that church, with that preacher, with the culture of that congregation, or that convention. You're not familiar with what goes on in that. So you're making an assessment and a decision based on something it's like a relationship. It's like being mad at the way two people deal with their relationship, and they not mad at it.
Well, but if you see a man beating a woman,
but beating a woman is different, right?
You can say, I don't like a woman beating a man.
If a man tell this woman, yo, go get me some food, and she start laughing, like, I like when she might like the way he tell her to get some food.
It might be role playing.
It might be role playing for them. You paying attention to people's business, and you made an assessment that is wrong because it's not for you. That's why you ain't in that relationship.
Yeah.
That's why you wasn't at that conference. That's why you don't go to that man's church. You go to the preacher, the church that says, hey, if you have a couple of dollars, can you please give it to? I've been to churches
where they don't center fund.
They don't center fund
money.
But I've also been to churches, and not even churches. I've been to mosques where they said, "Listen, we need to raise $100,000, and we know a few of y'all got about $5,000. Y'all got good suits on. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave too fast. I know you got a good suit on, and we know we can get 2 or 3 of y'all to put $5,000 because we need to make." And you know what happens? And people come out their pockets, or they don't.
Yeah.
And then people are happy, and they come back and the church is full, the mosque is still full. So what I'm trying to say is, people always want to have an opinion about somebody else's situation. If you're not a church person, if you don't go to that type of church, if you're not into that type of church, then fine. But trying to say that it's wrong because it's not something that you would do, it's not illegal, it's not crime, nobody's robbed anybody, nobody's filed any charges. You probably just need to go to a church that fits you. That preacher in that situation is just not for you. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, here's my opinion. I'm not even going to get into a long, drawn-out thing. The bottom line is that I've been going to church since I was a little girl. And not only have I been in church since I was a little girl, I've also been in organizations, civil rights organizations, since I was a little child. And as young as 5 years old, my mother used to roll up whatever the money that I'm supposed, that is my portion. She taught me about tithing and stewardship from a young age. From 5 years old, I had my own envelopes, my own number, stick my little $5 in there. I used to save it all week. So by the end of the week, 50 cents, 25 cents or whatever, then she would put whatever else so that $5 would be in my envelope. And I can remember multiple times being in church or being at a rally or in some situation where the pastor will say, nobody move while I'm raising money, or the speaker, nobody move while I'm raising money. Matter of fact, close the door. I want nobody moving for 2 reasons. The first reason is just on a lighter side, you know, it's like, nah, we gonna get this money in here today. So ain't nobody now is not the time. You done had your Holy Spirit. You done sang songs and did all the things. You filled me up, Lord. And now when it's time to get the collection plate going, you finna slide on out, tiptoe with the one finger in the air. So that's on the lighter note. But on the serious side, when people start moving all around and money is being collected and you don't know what's going on. And pastors, just like everybody else, have the right to say, hold up, I want to see where the moving pieces are while I'm up here vulnerable, either collecting money or not. I know some pastors that are even concerned about people running around and moving too much in the church in the spirit.
Yeah, they're out here robbing churches.
Because they rob.
Sometimes you got to lock the door. You might really need to lock the door because somebody is running there and robbing.
Exactly. So with that being said, and holding that on one side, that this is regular, this culture, and to your point, the reason why there are not 100, 200 people, even 15 people that were in the room that day that was in the facility that day saying, oh, I'm so offended and upset about it, is because most people that go to churches, especially at the level of Marvin Sapp is not the preacher from the corner of your community. And I'm not saying that he ain't, because he raised money too.
Exactly.
The corner preacher raised money too, okay? So let's just get that. But Marvin Sapp is on a totally different level. When you go to his church, it's a bigger space. There's more expenses. The real question is not how he said it and whether or not, to me, some other people will say, no, it does matter to me how he said it. Cool, that's you. But it doesn't, that's not, I'm not caught up in that. What I want to know is, what are the services that the church provides from Sunday to Saturday? That's what I want to know. I want to know, after church is over, what do they do? Because I know for a fact, not because of what I think, not because of what somebody told me, but I know for a fact that Marvin Sapp specifically and his congregation are very, very community oriented. I know for a fact that they feed people. I know for a fact that they're invested in housing, that they do community activities, that they are giving out scholarships, that they holding up young people. Now, I can see if all you see is the pastor just rolling up, get the money, and then the church does nothing in the community. Cool, you need to raise that as members of the church. That's right. You need to raise that. But I know the type of pastor he is because I know his friends. I know where he comes from. I know that Jamal Bryant is one of his friends. I know that Rudy McKissick, who is one of my best friends, is one of his friends. I know who he's around, and the people that he's around, they have ministries that are deeply invested in community. So if somebody can show me where the money that's being raised is going towards vacation for not just him, but for the staff and everybody to go on Monday until Friday, they go to the beach, and then they come back on Saturday and they act like they just back for preparation for church, then I can tell me that. Yeah. But if what you're telling me is you didn't like the way he said it, and yet the work that's being done is something that you do like, we don't care. I'm not. We ain't into that. So that's how I feel about it.
I mean,
I think y'all. I don't think Marvin Sapp is the one that was doing too much in this situation. I think the critics are doing too much.
But they always do too much in the comments.
They're not gonna like us
in the comments. That might be a segment we need to do in the comments.
We always talk about in the comments.
We're going to go in the comments.
Let us go to the next thing because Janice is going to kill us. So our next topic today is hilarious to me. I mean, just knocked down on the floor, just wipe the floor.
What is you laughing at?
Just screaming, hollering that you... okay, I know how I'm going to say it. I know you fucking lying. That... Elon Musk is out of his rabbit ass mind.
Elon Musk. Lord.
This man is doing an interview. You posted this.
Oh, you talking about?
He's doing this interview here where he is saying, I can't believe that people are watching I think he said Bernie Sanders.
No, he said Tim Walz.
Oh, Tim Walz. Tim Walz. He said that Tim Walz is a creep.
He called him a creep. He said, "What kind of creep? You know, he's on stage and he's parading the fall of Tesla's stocks stock numbers, right?
Okay, don't do his voice.
This is how he talk.
Okay, I know, but he has disabilities.
I don't know if he has this. He never said he had this. Well, I'm just speaking how he talk. He said, and he's parading the stock fall, right? What kind of creep does that? What kind of creep prays and is happy to see someone fall? No one does that. No. He's a creep. He's a creep. This guy. So what I'm saying to myself, how could he be a creep when you was on a stage with a saw?
I never saw this. I never saw.
The man was on the stage.
I never saw it.
The man had a saw talking about he cutting the jobs inside
the
government, and he's like, this.
Oh, one of them conferences with all the white people.
He was up there like this.
But I didn't know he had a saw.
It was a saw. He's like this.
Like a chainsaw with sounds, or just.
It was a fake chainsaw, but they gave him the chainsaw simulating that he was going to cut.
Symbolizing.
Symbolizing the same thing. I know what I'm talking about. I know a little thing. But anyway, he was simulating like he was cutting the prices and he was cutting the jobs. So you felt it was a creep, right? Somebody was a creep for talking about your stock prices. You the richest man in the world. And they was a creep because they talk about how your stock prices had plummeted. But you was the good person for just cutting people's jobs, everyday jobs that worked their whole life and went to school and did everything they could to get in these federal jobs. And you cut their jobs and you made a joke about, we cutting it all. Right. Get rid of it. But you wasn't the creep, though.
But not only are you cutting jobs, you're calling people parasites for needing social services. And meanwhile, you are an American welfare recipient because every single one of your businesses, you have needed American money. You have needed handouts in order to save them because they were failing. You and Trump have literally robbed the system, literally. If we're going by your standard,
just think about you got to really think about what they're telling you, right? What Social Security is, right? Because the average person that works every day, the tax money goes. They have the Social Security, like immediately they take it out of your check,
and it goes to them, right?
And it goes.
And Social Security money does get used.
So the Social Security money is every person in America that most of the people that work, that money goes into the pot to pay. Yeah. So when you can't work, to when you're too old, when you have disability, when you've done all the working you can, now you get the money that it's delay away. So you're telling people that delay their money away that they parasites,
right? But no. Well, that's Social Security, but I can't say he made a distinction, but I would imagine that what he would say is that he's talking more so about food stamps and welfare checks.
No, but
and what I'm saying
he says Social Security.
I know. No, I'm not saying he hasn't attacked Social Security, and yes, there's some specific things there. But I'm saying when he made the parasite comment, I just want to give credit, like not credit, but I just want to be careful to make sure.
No, he said that people who take Social Security is parasites.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Say welfare,
because I was what I was going to try to do is, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to make it better. Yeah, I wasn't trying to make it better. What I was trying to do is say, let's go with your theory. Let's not even talk about Social Security. Let's just go with welfare and what's the other thing? Welfare and food stamps, right? Let's just go with that. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that you were able to come to this country to build your businesses, and when they failed, you turned to government assistance to get you some money to help save your businesses.
That's a fact.
And by the way, that's government assistance. And by the way, I'm not saying that you're a parasite, right? Well, I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now. Now I'm saying that that's the standard.
If that's his definition of parasite,
there we go. He definitely. So now I'm with you. Parasite. Now I'm with you that exactly, you're a worse parasite than some of the little parasites that's getting $300 a month for food stamps. So we talking about real parasites here. You a piranha. Okay, you the piranha for sure. So, but what I'm saying is that since you want to label people, why you didn't sit on the TV and just say, you know what, it's fair game, cool. If that's what Tim Walz want to do, that's fine. You know why? Because you are not just a you're not just a narcissist. You're a diabolical, dangerous individual that you want people to feel sorry for you.
Not only that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
But the man said one of the biggest faults in America is empathy. He said that's one of the biggest flaws that America has is that we have empathy. Just think about the mind state of a person that says empathy is a flaw. So now you told the whole world that America's flaws is empathy, but you want people to be empathetic that you lost your $1 billion and you got more money than anybody in the world. You want people to be empathetic that your stock is falling?
You know what
Are you fucking kidding me?
You know what I think is so funny? I can imagine that any half of an adult that works around these people,
gotta be looking like these.
Any half of an adult, right? Like, let's just say Melania is half of an adult because she don't be wanting to be around with them. She don't even be wanting to fool with them jokers. But let's just say she's half of an adult and she watches out the window of the White House, maybe if she's there, or on the news while she's in New York at home with her son, who she says, I have to stay with my son because he's in college and I need to be there. Which is fine, says do your thing. But if she sees them with a Tesla on the lawn, like on the pavement of the White House, with these two big dummies, Donald Trump and Elon Musk standing there, and Elon Musk is
was terrible.
Right.
Trump was telling you weeks ago it's terrible. I don't even know why. Why would anybody buy it? Now I love my Tesla. Everybody should buy it.
Elon Musk is standing there like, yeah, help me. They're messing with my money. Help me. And Donald Trump is like trying to sell it. I can imagine that this lady is just like, this is so embarrassing. It is very embarrassing.
I mean, when you have any level of sanity, it's embarrassing.
Because we don't know her family, right? We don't know her family. So for all we know, she's got family members that's calling her saying, now, girl.
It's a shit show.
Because, she kind of brown slightly. Yes. A little bit of something is in there. I need to do a little research. She probably got somebody that's like, girl, what in the world? It's a shit show.
It's a shit show. And speaking of a shit show, that brings me to my I don't get it. Now, this video has been surfacing. You sent me this video, and I'm like, why would you send me this?
I sent it to you for a very specific reason, but I'll wait until you finish.
I'm sitting there, and I just see like a little video, and it just tunes to this man. He happens to be a Caucasian white man.
It's a
Caucasian white man. And all of a sudden, you just see like this little sprinkle come from between line. He's sitting on a plane, and the man is literally sitting on a plane peeing. Like, peeing in the seat, not in the bathroom, in the seat, like behind.
Well, obviously, if you say he was sitting.
I'm so confused. Now, it looks like it might be something wrong with his prostate, too, because he don't really have
What
much.
are you talking about, my son?
It's like the little bit of pee might be peeing on his balls.
But maybe it was something else. Maybe because we don't see his actual pee-pee.
Yeah, you don't get to see that.
Maybe it's AI?
But the fact that, it wasn't AI. It wasn't AI. This man was peeing on the plane. He was peeing. And if this was me, I would have threw water on him. I would have screamed, everything. Yo, what you doing? You nasty motherfucker. I'd have called him out. Like, literally, you have to get off the plane. Like, it's no way that you that lazy or anything that you sitting there peeing on the plane.
But
like, what is going on? I just don't understand the mind state of a man that's sitting on a plane. And the thing is, somebody is taping you. They across from you. He never looked to the side one time to see if anybody else was looking at him. He's literally just sitting there like this, peeing like it's the weirdest shit in the world.
But
like,
there's something about, I don't get it.
I don't get the man peeing on a plane. What do you mean? I don't get it. I mean, do you get him peeing on a plane?
Yeah, because you know what? There's some freaks out here. It's people that they do exposing themselves. There are people who, he might be one of those people that has a mixture of exposure.
What?
He wants to be, what's it called when you expose yourself? It's called being a exhibitionist, right?
That's not even exhibitionist.
But listen, he might be an exhibitionist and he likes to pee on people all in one thing. Like he probably is some weird ass freak. But you know what I don't get? This is what I don't get. I expect.
So you expect the man to pee on the
Man,
plane?
let me tell you what I expect.
So you get the man peeing on the plane.
Let me tell you what I expect. No, I'm not even. I think the person who recorded is important because it helps to prove my point. I get it all. What I don't get is how anybody would take themselves on the plane and sit in the seat and use the screen, the what you call the thing, the lights and the air conditioning and put the seatbelt on and touch the buttons on the side when you have no way of knowing if the person before you was pissing on the plane. I clean everything that I can. I'm not saying that I am cleaning it to the point where I'm not touching any germs. But I tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm definitely not putting the back of my hair on a headboard or the headboard. It's not the headboard, but the headrest of the plane, knowing that your dandruff, your sweat, your whatever is going into my head. And then I'm gonna take my head and put it in my hat, in my headscarf, in my bed. Are you crazy? Nah, I'm wiping that down. If I have time and I get on the plane early enough, I wipe the seat from the top.
Yeah, she's not lying at all.
Down. I pull the flaps. You know how the flaps be back like this? I pull them and clean them because one time I happened to be talking to a friend I was in Comfort, the first row of Comfort, and my friend was in first class, and I leaned up to say, hey girl, good to see you. You just talking to somebody, you happen to bump into them on a plane, and I happened to look my head and saw that I guess they was eating food or whatever, and they must have grabbed like this, and it was like ketchup and something, and it was so filthy. And I'm like, I told her, don't move. Another thing that happened to me one day, I was on the plane and this man was sitting right across, and he was cleaning his nose and he hawked into the tissue. And when the flight attendant came by, she took all the people's stuff, which she should have had her gloves on, but she didn't. And this man, knowing what was in this tissue, gave it to her in her hand. I got up and shot myself to the front, to the little area, because how do I know she gonna wash her hands in between making somebody's drink? That's why I don't drink out their glass. I would like to have a plastic cup. I mean, I don't play around. I clean. And so I don't understand anybody that gets on the plane without some wipes or something to say, let me wipe this down before I sit my ass down here and go to sleep and lay back and do all of this and touch the thing, and then I want to pick my own nose or rub my face or scratch somewhere, and I'm going to take piss from a man with me, Lord, and boogers and nastiness. So when you ask
boogers and nastiness.
When you say what you don't get.
She said boogers and nastiness. Oh my God. Yeah, you can't make this up. And the funny part is y'all think she exaggerated, but she ain't even giving you the full story. The lady gets on a plane and it be to the point where they give her all of the wipes. Like she goes to the person and says,
I have my own wipes.
She got a bag full of wipes. Like it's about 300 of them in there. But she still makes sure she goes to the flight attendant and say, do you have wipes? And they stopped giving them out, recently.
But they still be
some
giving
of them
me
do.
some of them.
And if they have them, they'll give her the whole bag. And she's like a kid in a candy, so she lights up. Her eyes light up. She puts them in the bag. She goes to her seat, and she opens them up, and she wipes. And if I happen to be sitting next to her, she'll be like, no, don't sit there. Don't touch anything. What are you doing? Don't touch anything. And then she'll pass you the wipe. And then if you don't do it good enough, she'll be like, no, the button's there. No. And she wipes it down, and then you be sitting in there.
It's not funny.
And she wipes the whole seat down. She wipes every button.
The
she wipes
seat
the whole seat belt. She
the
makes
cloth part and the cling thing.
Anything. And if you touch
latch
anything too much, she'll be like, why? Don't touch that. It is a full movie. It is not, and this is every flight. It's not like this is every flight. She doesn't take no days off.
Yes, I do.
I've
6
never
a.m. a couple of times. I just be like,
so maybe I have yet to
because
see
the night before, I feel like the germs, once that plane is parked for, however many hours, 8 hours or 7 hours, and they wiped it down a little bit. When I get on at 6 o'clock, I'm like, I'm basically heading home to try to clean myself up anyway. So I'm gonna just go with it.
Well,
but
listen.
this headrest, I cannot put my hair. Ooh. Anyway, all right. Thank you.
It's a real thing.
I am very serious about it. I just think cleanliness is next to godliness, as the Muslim community says.
I agree. I mean, but you are godliness next to godliness, because if cleanliness not, because it's above and beyond. Like, it's above and beyond. She wants you. She'll watch you with your phone and be like, "Did you wipe the phone down? Like, wipe your phone off." Like, she does this to everybody. She'll watch a stranger about to touch something and be like, "No, don't touch it." Like, well, it's really serious.
Let me just say this. I found my tribe. I found my people. Because in the comments section where the man was peeing, Janice, I wrote a comment. And I said, I cannot believe that people sit there and they don't clean down the area. And there are a bunch of folks in there who are saying cuss words like, I don't give a shit. Who don't like it? I clean everything. They got to wait for me to clean it down. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Get it. That's it. Those my people in the comment section. Matter of fact, I need to see who them people are so I can send every single one of them my book. I live to tell the story. Okay.
Lord,
there we go. Thank you.
With that said, it brings us to the end of another episode. So it definitely was a good start to the new season, season 5.
Yes, right. Season 5 is here.
We appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all tune in as usual. Let us know who you want to see. Let us know what topics y'all want to discuss. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Tell us we the #1 podcast in the world, because we are TMI. We're about to go on tour, right? Mm-hmm. We're about to go to TMI tour. Make sure that y'all tune in. That's what it is. Listen, the TMI tour is coming.
Where you going to get the money from?
Listen, we're going to put it up.
We Kumu-Sabi?
Yes. We speak French.
I don't know about we.
We. French. We speak French. We. We're going to put it up. The TMI tour is coming. Let us know where y'all want the TMI show to come to, and we're going to come to a city near you. I'm not going to always be right. Tamika D. Mary's not going to always be wrong, but we will both always, and I mean always, be authentic.
Peace.
Salute. That's how we own it.